I've played a ton of games this year. From breakout hits to hidden gems, here are my top 12 indie games of 2022. Starting off the list strong is Haiku the Robot. Haiku the Robot is a Metroidvania set in a vast interconnected world full of corrupt robots and machinery. In Haiku, you'll dodge, dash, and slash along your journey to forge your own path and discover the dark secrets of Arcadia. The game was developed by one person who had previously never written a single line of code in their life. Inspired by Hollow Knight and Super Metroid, Jordan, aka Mr. Morris, went on to craft a special Metroidvania full of tense boss fights, upgrades galore, and a wonderful pixel art aesthetic. First game or not, this is a must-play for fans of the genre, and I can't wait to see what's next. Next up, we have the recently released Lil Gator Game. Lil Gator Game is a cozy and wholesome adventure that will probably get fans of a short hike very excited. You play as Lil Gator, who goes on an imaginative journey to demonstrate the joy of play with the help of an adorable cast of colorful characters you meet along the way. Whether you boop cardboard enemies with your sword, go shield surfing, make new friends, or soar through the sky with your glider, the choice is up to you and how you approach this adventure. It's a relaxing and goofy game with no pressure and a world that you just want to get lost in. Rounding out the top 10 is one of my favorite platforming games this year with OlliOlli World. OlliOlli World is a bold skateboarding action platformer that's bursting with personality. As you embark on your quest for Nirvana, you'll flip, trick, grind, and air your way through Radlandia while meeting a vibrant cast of characters and acquiring some sick gear along the way. Vibrant is a great way to describe the entirety of OlliOlli World because this new entry in the series has totally elevated its game with an art style that pops right off the screen. This is probably the most approachable game in the series as well, but there's still plenty of challenge for those that want it. I love playing this game on Steam Deck, and it's an incredible game to have on the go. At number 9, we have one of the coziest games of 2022 with The Spirit and the Mouse. The Spirit and the Mouse is a 3D narrative adventure game featuring Leela, a tiny mouse with a big heart. After fate introduces Leela with Lumion, the spirit guardian, you'll adventure through a French village, helping those that need it in order to restore kindness and light to the people. While the village is experiencing some ill-timed electricity issues, you'll need to find and enlist the help of some friendly lightning-filled creatures known as Kiblins to assist those in need. The game has a beautiful world with plenty of collectibles and people to help, and it's a cozy adventure that simply makes you feel happier after playing it. Next up, we have a breakout hit that inspired quite a few games in the genre with Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors is a gothic horror action roguelite with auto-battling elements that has taken the world by storm. The game contains a slew of different characters, each with their own starting weapons and stats, and each run will contain several weapons and upgrades to choose from. Your choices of weapons and upgrades could be the difference between a visual display of mowing down hordes of enemies or putting a quick end to your run. I've put a ton of hours into this game on multiple platforms, and I'm not alone. It's the #1 most played game on Steam Deck, and now that it's on mobile as well, that might just be my preferred way to play. At number 7, we have a game with some devilishly good 3D platforming with Hellpie. Hellpie is a gross and gory 3D platformer featuring Nate, the demon of bad taste. In Hellpie, your goal is to make Satan's famous birthday pie featuring some questionable collectibles you find throughout your adventure. Under the game's obscene exterior, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that this game has some incredible 3D platforming mechanics and mobility along with multiple hub worlds to explore. Using your Chain Angel friend, you have an inner grappling hook that gives you a ton of verticality and is so satisfying to use. As a massive 3D platformer fan, I think this is a must-play for any fans of the genre. Next up, we have my favorite roguelike of 2022 with Dome Keeper. Dome Keeper is an innovative mining survival roguelike with tower defense elements. You essentially dig deeper and deeper, acquiring materials to survive, but you'll need to return to the surface in time to protect your dome. The gameplay loop is relatively simple at first, but much like each run, there's more beneath the surface than meets the eye. Along the way, you'll get access to powerful upgrades, ways to strengthen your dome, and you might run into a cute dino named Drillbert who can dig for you. The game balances calm and satisfying moments with tense ones in a beautiful way, and with what they've added since launch, I'm thoroughly impressed. At number 5, we have a game that captures some of that Nintendo-like magic that I love so much with Tinykin. Tinykin is a lovely 3D platforming adventure game with some Pikmin-like elements set in a sprawling ant-sized metropolis straight out of the early 90s. You'll play as Milo, who's shrunk down and stuck in 1991 and just needs to find his way back home. In order to do this, you'll need to catch hundreds of Tinykin who all have unique characteristics and abilities that will come in handy throughout your journey. Using Tinykin to reach tough spots and surfing on my soapboard was a highlight of the year for me, and this game is a collectathon lover's dream. The game was an absolute joy to play from beginning to end. Next up is my puzzle game of the year in the Entropy Center. The Entropy Center is a mind-bending first-person puzzle game where you must reverse objects through time to solve increasingly complex puzzles. The game actually has you thinking in reverse in some incredibly clever ways plays by using your AI-powered gun called Astra to manipulate time. The Entropy Center introduces several new mechanics along the way, featuring various cubes that can bounce, expand, create bridges, shoot lasers, and much more. The story was well written and the visuals are among the best of 2022, no question. This is the closest I've come to feeling how I did playing Portal and Portal 2 since those games released, and that's high praise indeed. At number 3, we have my favorite Metroidvania of the year with Islets. Islets is a surprisingly wholesome Metroidvania about making connections with the people around you. You play as Eco, a mouse with lofty aspirations to save the world and be the hero, although that's much easier said than done. The world has been shattered into floating islands thanks to some devious beasts, and it's up to you to reunite these islands and be the hero you've wanted to be. Islets' hand-painted art style is gorgeous, and the combat and platforming are super satisfying and fluid. The game even has an in-air hub world featuring shoot-'em-up style boss fights to mix things up. Islets is full of charm, and fans of the genre need to check it out. Next up, we have one of the most slick-looking games I've played all year with Neon White. Neon White is a single-player speedrunning FPS with card game elements where you can sacrifice your guns for godlike parkour moves. You play as White, an assassin or Neon handpicked from hell to compete with other demon slayers for a chance to live permanently in heaven. Neon White's card system is genius, with having primary weapon actions and having specialty platforming actions represented by discarding. The game just makes you feel like a superhero, going so fast through each level with perfect precision. Neon White is an incredible combination of FPS and platformer that everyone should play whenever they can. At number 1, my game of the year goes to none other than Sephonie. Sephonie is a parkour-based 3D platformer that has you exploring a massive cave network, linking with unidentified species, and unraveling scientific and spiritual mysteries. In my review earlier this year, I said the game is a masterclass in proving that the 3D platformer genre has more tricks up its sleeve, and that still rings true today. Boss encounters play out like a Tetris-inspired block puzzle game that I couldn't get enough of. The story is incredible and told through wonderful vignettes that tie everything together. With an aesthetic that invokes nostalgic feelings and gameplay that pushes the genre forward, I loved every minute of it. So what are your favorite indie games of this year? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe to discover your next favorite games, and I'll see you in the next one.